Hello, may I interest you in some computers? We are picking back up again with the VAX project. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If not, it has been a really long last couple videos, but this all culminates in what we're about to see today, which is getting into DECWindows, and more specifically the old school DECWindows that's called XUI, and it has this, oh man, just retro style to it. It is so much fun. I really love it. This is like peak old school GUI to me. So if you like a nice old school GUI, you're gonna enjoy today because we're just gonna sit down and relax and check it out. Really, that's about it. There is a part in this second part of the video where I decided to try and install some of the other cards I had gotten in the lot that I got with the video card we've been working on this whole time. That didn't go so great. So first part of this video is great. Second part of this video is, it's gonna be real short, I'll tell you that. But without further ado, let's get right to checking out DECWindows. I have this book. I bought this some time ago, I believe off of Thrift Books, and Thrift Books is like one of my favorite things ever, just because you can find lots of stuff like this, old manuals. I also have, it only costs you like a few bucks a book most of the time, and I have other books like this, which I really wanted to get into this one because it's a super technical how the kernel works book. I've seen it on other people's bookshelves and it has made me giddy. Also at some point I grabbed this guy, VAX Structured Assembly Language Programming. It's exactly what it sounds like. Kind of dry. It's like if you know what assembly language programming is, then it seems like the first half of this book is pretty useless, but still cool to have. But I think this is a fun one because if you flip to the page I have marked, it has an introduction to DECWindows. It goes over, you know, it's one of those classic things because this book is from, let's see, firstly pretty cool. It was at MIT at some point, so that's interesting. 91, if you can see that. 1991 is the publication date on this, and I don't know, well, yeah, this is the third edition. You see, this is the stuff I love. So, yeah, let me just read this whole paragraph. Unlike a VT terminal, a VAX workstation is an intelligent computing device. The workstation has four main components: the VAX processor, video display, keyboard, and a pointing device called a mouse. This brand new, newfangled thing, the mouse. You may not have heard of it before, but the VAX system, the intelligent VAX system, has what is known as a mouse. Yeah, see, this is like what got me super hype when I got this book, because I had only seen like the motif-based DECWindows, but look at this thing. It's like made for a monochrome display. It has that look that like Windows 1.0 and GOS and, you know, the original black and white Mac Workbench have, where it's stripped down and it's just rectangles and bitmap fonts. And I don't know if it's just because it's so old and anachronistic now, but like, I think that is hella sexy. I just love that they have to explain this to you. Each DECWindows application runs in its own window, a rectangular area of the screen. Like, I know what a window is, dude. Yeah, they're mostly going over the way that you can, you know, change your settings on your DEC term, what it emulates, what the display size is, your regular stuff. Anyway, clearly there's a calculator in there. We're gonna have to play with that. Guess it has like information on printing from here, which of course we cannot do. I don't have a printer that works with this system. Yeah, that's it. Kind of disappointed. I thought the DECWindows section would be more interesting in here, but it's still kind of a neat book to have in that it's like a learner's guide to this system from a perspective of, you know, I'm brand new to this, and also what is a GUI? Because even if you kind of knew computers back then, like starting up on a workstation was probably at least marginally confusing. Well, let's power the machine up, I guess. Okay, before I get tucked into this, I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit and just remind you what I'm working with. So we have this 20-pin cable that comes out of the video card and goes into this kind of breakout board where it goes off to the VGA, breaks out the RGB signals. Then there are two sets of serial signals coming in, one of which is coming in from this dongle going into my laptop. Again, it's just plain serial, as you can see. And then the other is going through this level converter and going over to this teensy 2, which is then plugged into this PS2 keyboard. So that's the keyboard story. Keyboard, teensy, level converter, breakout board, video card. Then on the other side, this dongle is going to a Python script on here. That's the thing I'm working on. And then I'm going to make things more natural, I have an external USB mouse plugged into my ThinkPad so that I can have more of a normal keyboard and mouse experience. So let's get tucked in. All right, she's up. My focus on the screen seems to be good. I'm not sure if the mouse is working properly yet because I haven't had a chance to get into the GUI. So I'm just going to try booting this up from scratch and see if everything works. Might have to restart because the mouse might not be running properly, but we will find out. So let's do the usual BDUA1. Boot the first DSSI disk. I know I said last time pull up a cup of coffee, but get what you got. Dang, yeah, mouse isn't working. I probably just have the send and receive wires backwards. Yep, nice, okay. The mouse wasn't working, but I just had the receive and transmit lines backwards, and now it looks like we are in business. So this is really cool, because I have not used this in this way with just the mouse, you know. It's still going through the laptop, but at least I can pretend like it's actually connected to the machine. It's pretty convincing. All right, username is system. The password is, oh God, do you trust me to remember this password again? If I have to reset this whole thing again, well, that'll make for a good video, frankly, so. So of course, I'll remember it just fine. So this is it. This is the VMS DECWindows desktop. It is very of its time. I can't remember when VMS 5.5 came out. Give me a hot second. I'm actually going to grab something I can look stuff up on and be more informative this time around. All right, pulling out my wonderfully massive Power Mac G4 here. This is not a Power Mac. It's a bit smaller than a Power Mac. I pulled up the old Wikipedia machine, and this all makes a lot of sense. So I'm running VMS 5.5. From what I can see on Wiki, 5.0 came out in '88. That makes a lot of sense because I had thought that was roughly contemporaneous with my machine. And again, according to the old Wiki, this MicroVAX 3800 came out in '89. Some people might say, why don't you run a newer version? I mean, this can run the newer, what, like 7.3, I think is what the last VAX version is. But it's kind of like running Windows XP on a Pentium 3. Like, you can do it, right? But why would you want to? Like, it was never really intended to run on there. It wants much better hardware. This also means, and I'll still need to see because I haven't found this really yet, this environment, it's called DECWindows, but it's an old version of DECWindows. It's like proto-DECWindows. If you know anything about Unix workstations, you'll know like Sun, very interestingly, had a windowing system or two before they went with CDE. And this is similar to that. I actually don't know if this version of DECWindows runs over X, but regardless of that, it's similar in that they also turned to Motif and CDE later on. And from what I've seen, 5.5 actually does have DEC Motif on it. But by default, running this video card, apparently, it runs this old version, which I'm going to find the name of this environment, but it's my favorite because it's the one you could see in that book. You know, it's so simple. It is so, here's the beginning of GUIs being a thing. So anyway, let's play with it a little bit, because honestly, I haven't that much. So when things start up, you get three things. You get this icon box, and from everything I can tell, this acts a lot like the taskbar on Windows. Basically, if you iconify a window, it gets zooped up here, and then if you want to pull it back out, you just click back in there and it pops back onto the screen. Next, you have this session manager. And this is kind of like Program Manager in like older version of Windows, almost. This is the application that kind of starts up and drives the rest of the desktop. As far as I know, this actually starts and spawns both the icon box and file view. And then finally, it spawns a file view, which is exactly what it sounds like. For starters, let me show you this button, the second to the right. It's the Send Behind button. Check this out. Yeah. It pushes this window all the way to the bottom of the stack, which is something I haven't seen in like any window manager ever. If you can tell me another window manager that does that, I would love to hear, but it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You just whoop to the back, whoop to the back. The icon box has one too. I wonder, you have to remember, I haven't really used this either. I just got it working and now I'm playing with it. So yeah, let's layer this on top of the icon box and send this to back. Yeah, so now I can send the icon box to back. Interesting. Now can I move the icon box? Because I can't seem to focus the icon box. Yeah, but I can move it. Interesting. Oh, I liked it where it was. I hope I don't screw this up too bad. Now can I iconify the icon box? Damn, that would have been quite meta. Okay, so let's start poking at the session manager because, you know, it's kind of like Program Manager and Start Menu. Okay, there's two applications here, so this might not go very long. Apparently we can customize like a bunch of stuff here. We'll play with that too. And then session is, you know, we can log out and log back in. What is pause like lock? Yeah, apparently. I like how they didn't even bother centering this in the screen. This is pretty bare bones. Oh yeah, and I still remember my password. Okay, I guess we can go to applications. We'll just pull up a deck term because, as mentioned in the book, one of the biggest reasons for having a windowing system is so you can have multiple terminals on the screen at the same time. Which, I mean, to be frank, is like a lot of the point of windowing in the first place. So I'll show the one thing about the windowing system that I hadn't yet. The one button here is this Resize button. It works pretty much exactly like TWM's Resize, so I'm curious like what the lineage is on the Resize button. Dead serious, if anybody knows what this style of Resize button comes from, I would love to know, because it clearly has its origins somewhere, and then it disappeared. And you actually have to manually set what the VT size is in your customized settings. Okay, so there's a setting here. Mind you, I'm discovering all this stuff for the first time as I do it, so auto resize terminal, is that what we want? Let's resize the window now. Hey, okay, that seems to be what we wanted. But this is not a Unix style prompt. It's its own special thing. It's very DOSy. It kind of hails from a whole lineage of DOS-type operating systems that DEC had for their PDP series of computers. There's the RSX-11 operating system for the PDP-11 that was very popular, and that's very DOSy. There was DOS-8 for the PDP-8. That is, you know, it's basically like having a DOS or a CP/M. So a lot of the syntax and stuff like that is very similar on VMS. So not a Unix, but weirdly has a lot of like the power of a Unix in that it has virtual memory. It's, you know, all process oriented. It's very much not old Mac OS or Windows. It's a, you know, it's a workstation, workhorse, server, mini computer operating system. So for example, dir is the directory listing command. But I won't get too deep into this because this isn't about DCL, which is the command language for VMS. Ooh, we have options for light text, dark background. I prefer that. Let's go with underline cursor. Apply. Okay, that's also much more modern looking. Cool. So that was all the applications, deck term and file view. That's it. Customize. I'm curious. Customize window. Ooh. So this is actually really interesting because this card is a 4-plane card. It would be 4-bit color, right? I don't know, let's play with it and see if we can get more colors. Oh, interesting. So I wonder if this is like changing stuff on a palette basis. because I don't think, again, it's 4 planes, so my assumption is 16 color. That has to be changing like the mapped color for this color index or something. There's no way that this does that many colors. Well, let's get funky with this. This is one of the things I wanted to see if we had like window customization options. This is exactly what I wanted to find. That is very odd. I feel like something is quite confused here because I put the red intensity at 100 and dropped everything else to 0, and it's full blue. So I might have my VGA wired up wrong? Could be. Maybe this is not how this is supposed to look at all. Well, that is interesting because I just reviewed this, and what is written down in the notes jotted into the PDF here are the same as what I have soldered, so maybe those are not in the right order? I don't know, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to swap the red and the blue and come back to this to see what this is supposed to look like, maybe. Okay, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but we have a blue digital logo, so, well, like this bluish background seems more DECWindows-y to me. This seems more right. I have no idea about that digital logo though. I could be totally wrong, but I'm going to call this the right way around, especially just because, let's go back to customize, window. We'll change the screen background color. See, that makes more sense. I turn red intensity up, and the red turns up. That can't be, this can't be wrong. This cannot be wrong. All right, let's just make that a little burgundy color. Yeah, I'm liking this. Yeah, right there. Oh, we have screen background and foreground color. Okay, let's just jack this up to 100. Oh, it's beautiful. It is like hot dog. I am going to log out of my session and not save my changes. Oh my god, it was right in Wiki the whole time. Okay, finally figured it out. All I needed to do was just scroll for a freaking minute. So this is called XUI, and it is in fact the second GUI framework for VMS. The first one is VWS. You could have just looked this up, but I'm going to tell you anyway. This is in fact based on top of X. VWS was not based on top of X. This is. Then it was later replaced in 96, version 7.1, with the DECWindows motif that most people know and love. God, what else is there? This is so bare bones. I don't know, let's just start from the top. Applications definitions. Oh, maybe this is some stuff we were missing. This looks like useful paint. That's not what I want to do. Applications menu? Oh, okay. All right. We might be in a good spot. Why they just give you 2 applications to start with? That seems very strange to me. Let's just add everything. Just everything. I want to play with it all. Oh, you guys, we just found the good stuff. I'm especially curious about puzzle. You're telling me we might get to play a game? A game? Oh, look at all of these. Oh, okay. Now I'm excited. Book reader. We'll just go through each of these. Reads a book. Okay, so apparently the only book we have in book reader is the book on reading books. Let's read it. Yeah, man, look at this. It's a book. You can read it. I mean, it's, you know, it's iBooks. All right, CDA viewer. I should probably know what a CDA is, but... Okay, I don't know what DDIF are. I don't know what DTIF are. Text, I assume, is text. Is PS PostScript? Oh, I wonder if this is like virtual printing output viewing. Let's look at the calculator. I bet this is fancy. I bet it has buttons. Oh, I was right. Oh, and a cute little digital logo. Look at that. So adorable. It does calculator things. Oh, it has programmer modes though, which is good. Sad thing is, I don't have any compilers on here. This only reminds me because, you know, this is useful as a programmer's calculator, apparently. But like, with a system this old, I don't want to use the old apps. There's no interesting old apps. I mean, there may be like proprietary CAD stuff and whatnot out there. Well, I would like to play with that, but I have no idea how you would find that kind of stuff for this XUI thing. But what's always good is, as a programmer, you know, you get a compiler on something and then you can start screwing with all the APIs and libraries and making your own stuff. And to me, that's quite fun. Calendar. Couldn't open calendar data file. Create a new one? No such file or directory. Heck yeah, I'll create one. Oh, well, this is expected. Let's see how well it scales. Let's check that out. Oh, just right. Beautiful. Now that is reactive design at its peak. Now I have too many things. I have too many things to show off. Let's check out this icon box thing, actually. That sounds interesting. Oh, because I guess it shows the date and time. That's cool. Oh, mail. Okay, I'll write that mail. I'll do it quick. This so went from something where I was like, I don't know what I'm going to show off. There's like 3 things to there just being this whole pile of applications. So, okay. Create send. New message. Let's do Joe at trackz.ro. Don't go there yet. I've had this domain name for quite a while. It is currently a parking page. I forgot to renew it a while back because I hadn't been using it, but now I'm obviously doing stuff again. Let's CC my boss at company.edu. Subject, I have peed my pants. Dear sir, I regret to inform you that as of 9:15 p.m. on this, the day of our Lord January somethingth, well, you know. Always yours. Me. Beautiful. Let's send that. Oh, okay. Apparently the network's not working now. It might have something to do with the wire that's not plugged into anything. Can I? Oh, I can save as though. Let's save P-Pants. P-Pants. Okay, continuing down the line. Notepad, I think we know what this is going to be about. Look, it's a pad of notes. Pad of notes. There you go. Does the stuff that you think it would. There you go. Hello. My pants are down. Okay, that's enough of this dumb joke. Let's move on to the next thing. There are way too many of these. These last 2 I'm fairly excited for. I mean, paint is paint, but that's always good. Everybody always loves some good painting. Yeah. Oh, let's get this full screen. Ooh, look at those lines. Yes. Oh, it's got everything. It's got the spray can. Why did everything have the spray can? Like, it was not useful. It's not, like, can you make dithered patterns with it? Is that what it's good for? It's good for nothing, and yet this had it. Paint for Windows had it. Probably the Mac Draw had it too. I don't remember. I'll have to check that out sometime. But who came up with this? This is another thing. Much like with this drag resize thing, that like it's here and it's in a bunch of other places and it's in Unix window managers and it's all over the place. Where did it come from? Probably super interesting. Where did this come from? Because this tool is perennially bizarre. Anyway, I'll just erase all that since I'm angry at it. It's like they ripped this straight off from some other package. I don't know what, but like, cause, oh man, when did Windows 1.0 come out? Because it was the 80s, it was probably before this. I don't know. I'm sure it didn't rip off Windows. I'm sure it's not the Windows one, but this is just striking me as way too familiar. Didn't mean to exit the session there. I just wanted to exit Paint. This is a really good line. Remember when like the popular thing to do on YouTube or podcasts or just the internet like 10 years ago was just to get wasted on air? And then I guess we realized that, you know, having livers was cool. Okay, all right, we saw enough of Paint. Very reminiscent of every other Paint. Still very neat. Actually, I want to see one more thing with Paint. Let's see if I can like print this to a PostScript file. Probably not. Oh, wait, okay, PostScript, yes. I don't know. Where would it print to? It's thinking about it, even though I haven't selected a printer. It's really crunching. Because I wonder if we can view it with that viewer application. Cranking on the disk, cranking on the disk. It's saving all day, and it's saving a whisk. I don't know why I said the word whisk. I'm 2 glasses of wine in, and I'm saving to the disk. I'm going to assume... Well, no, I have no idea. Oh, wait, what is this? Maybe this was my print job? Where did that come from? You can do it. You can do it. Load it. Load it. Come on. Come on. You're so close. Oh, it is my print job. How cool is that? Okay, well, there's something. Yeah, it printed my weird drawing to PostScript. Okay, that's a function. Are you guys ready for the puzzle? Of course, there's only so many puzzles it could or would be, but it's the slidey boy, which always reminds me of Chuck E. Cheese, because they had a big one of these at Chuck E. Cheese, and it was very informative on my youth. You know, there's an algorithm for doing this. And while I program for a living... All right, there it is, puzzle. Can we make it big? Yes, let's make the mega puzzle. 100 squares of goodness. The mind boggles. No mortal man has ever solved this puzzle. Oh my god, this is... At me if you just want to solve this puzzle. I'll send you the machine. Note, I will not send you the machine. On the basis that you can solve the 100 by 100 slider puzzle. What other settings? It was just the size, right? Okay, good. There should only be one setting for the slide puzzle, but just thought I'd double check that. And I guess that was it, guys. We'll move on, but that was a big one. I'm very happy. I'm glad, you know, I don't mind spending a lot of time with this because, whew, I mean, you watch the videos, you know how long it took me to build this junk and get this working. And I'm so happy because I spent, you know, being an adult, it's not a crazy amount of money, but I spent a pretty penny on this card. It's the kind of thing that, like, if you're a kid and you're collecting, or, you know, someone just starting out in a career and, you know, you don't have great means, you'd probably be ticked. I mean, I can just let you know, I bought this card for about $100. So, you know, bit of a splurge, but $100 was in that range where, like, I had to get this working. There's no way you can just leave a $100 card sitting around not doing anything. Most guys, I think, would say, you know, their wife would yell at them. I will say, thankfully, my wife would not yell at me, and big fan. Big ups to my wife. Big fan of that lady. All right, I hope that was relieving after all the work we did, trying to get a keyboard and a mouse on this thing, get video going. Oh man, we finally got here. I loved doing that. God knows how often I'll actually log into this computer and use it. Maybe a little bit more, because I actually got some cool old software distribution sets from a guy in the UK. His name is Mark Wickens, and I should have looked that up before doing that video and saying he was some British guy like a twat. Who has a mirror of all this stuff, which is super, super cool. I have some proper of the era software. It was the 91 release of the VMS software. Very cool. I'm going to try and learn Bliss, which is a programming language. Going to play with the C compiler. Maybe try and see if there are XUI toolkit files in there, because being able to write some XUI stuff would be super cool, in my opinion. Anyhow, now we get to the second part. The two cards I bought at the time that I got the VCB02 were a 8 megabyte memory card that I believe is actually for a MicroVAX 2, but looks like it has pretty much the same hookups. You know, it had the right extended memory address connector, and so I thought maybe it's worth a shot. So we'll poke into that one first. All right, I'm going to shove in the new memory board now. New old, I guess. It's actually older than this memory board. And we'll see if the system blows up. It may just not even freaking start, so I don't know. Let's find out. And theoretically, that's in. Oh my god, this is always such a finicky pain in the ass. These cables are so short. Anyway, let me plug into that. Assuming this poor beat up little adapter cable still works. Oh no. Oh no. Memory configuration error. I said this was going to be an easy video, so I'm just going to let this one go. I said I wasn't going to play with it, but I'm going to pop out the 16 meg card and just straight up swap it for the 8 meg and just see what it does. I'm just curious. Okay, this is 8 meg card only test, ready to go. You're going to see it first on live TV right here. It's probably not going to work. Oh, well, look at that. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? How about you look at that? It doesn't work. Okay. Okay, moving on. For real this time. Come on, guys. So it just doesn't work. At least that one is like an open and shut case. The second bit is the serial card. The other card I picked up from that same guy, which is probably more fun and interesting, though we'll see how this works getting it running, is this guy. So this is a 8-channel serial interface, basically. The idea being that if you had an office, you'd have one MicroVAX in the back room, and then all your employees, up to 8 of them, would connect with their terminals into this machine through this card. I don't know, the thing to me that's kind of cool about this old iron is that was the whole idea, is that you had a bunch of terminals and they all multiplexed into one machine, and well, I was going to say nobody does that anymore, but that's kind of how the cloud works now, huh? Yeah, they were ahead of their time. I think I can just attach headers to those pins. I'll only need to transmit and receive for one line, and then I think I can jam that onto the pins of like my dongle or something and, do it a super cheap way and kind of get this working. So, cut to me doing that. Fun fact, this is just kind of the way the screen is sometimes. I think this guy needs a recap. It's kind of been like this since I've got it, and then it just goes away and then it comes back. We're just gonna have to suffer through. That is what it is. Right now it is plugged into the laptop. I'm just going to test that the cable still works and that ProTerm, I remember how to use it. Let's do that. Well, that's not doing anything. That's not great. That's unfortunate. Okay, never mind, or just kidding. We're gonna use the 2GS instead. I don't know if my 2C is just borked for some reason. I mean, clearly there are several things wrong with it, so either way, it could be the cable is also not working, which I would not be surprised by, but I have a cable for Max/the 2GS that I know works okay, and I love my 2GS, so let's let it have some screen time. God, it's such a good feeling keyboard too. Okay, cool. We are receiving from the laptop, so there's that sanity check. Cool. Okay, so here it goes. I am going to jam some wires in some places. I'll probably get it backwards the first time around, as I always do. Well, that was helpful. I can see the numbers better in the camera than I can in real life. VAX is booted. You can see the laptop down over here. We've got the 2GS. It should be ostensibly connected to one of the channels on the card now. Okay, nothing so far over there. We are fully booted. Let's swap those lines. Well, that's doing something. What on earth? I wonder if this is just not set to the right baud. You know, this was supposed to be an easy video. This was supposed to be the easy take a load off video. And yet, here I am doing traces on a board to figure out where the right pins are. I hope you appreciate this. We're up. Interesting. It's probably just that I'm not set up properly in VMS. Who knows? Let's see. At least this machine cares about my urinary health, and that is what really counts. What fool thought this would be easy? I am still going. I'm running autogen now. I don't know what any of this does. Starting that boot. Laptop is rebooting again, so I figured I might as well start shooting again just in case we get a login prompt all of a sudden. Okay, never mind. Screw that. This one is on me for assuming anything about installing anything in this machine could just, like, work. So, that little bit, all of that, took me like a day and a half of screwing around. We might get back to it someday. Maybe that'll be its own video. If I can learn something that isn't online from some VAX experts about how to set up device drivers for things like this. No device shows up in VMS for this thing. I at least figured out what the device name is supposed to be. Starting up the system and also running sysgen, it sees that there's a card there, but I can't get the driver set up to connect it to the system. And even then, I don't know if there's terminal driver things that need to be set up, you know, like a VMS equivalent of setting up get TDY. I'm going to leave it off there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm probably going to do some more VMS and VAX stuff down the road just because this is a cool machine. People seem to be digging it. And there's a few other things that I could still check out. I might go into, you know, some of the software distribution stuff that I'm pulling down now, especially on a machine like this, because what I have to do is this machine only has a TK70 tape drive installed in it. So what I end up having to do is, a while back, I bought an info server. The info server is like a little network attached storage device, kind of. It's interesting. But either way, if you're on VMS and you're on the same network as one of those devices, its CD drive just shows up on your machine. So the cool thing is I'll burn this distribution kit, this software kit CD, and I'll stick it in the info server, and we can see it on the machine and run stuff off of it. I'll show you that maybe in a future video. Who knows? All I know is that next time around, we are going to get back to the DIY video card project. I'm actually really excited to get back to that since it's been a little while. I've been working on this VMS VAX stuff for a while. And I've fudged around just a touch with our little test bench, and we should be able to get pretty cool stuff happening pretty darn soon. So, stay tuned. You guys are like my extended family of weird computer nerds, and it's the best thing ever. So, it just keeps growing. I'm not huge, but, you know, I have some viewership, which is interesting. It's exciting in a really dumb way, and I appreciate you guys coming at all. So, I think that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for coming.